All right, welcome. So now that we've seen that a speed camera measures velocity or speed by using displacement and time, and we've determined that those variables, displacement, velocity, time, have a mathematical relationship with each other, we're going to work with the actual equation that can relate those variables today. So in physics and chemistry and biology and all sorts of science, you can use equations to solve for unknown variables. Today we'll be using the equation S equals VT. S, you'll recall, is displacement. S is the symbol for displacement. The unit that we use to measure displacement is meters. So whenever you get a value for displacement, the unit is in meters. The variable V stands for the variable velocity with the unit meters per second. The symbol T stands for time with the unit seconds. I'm emphasizing this because I sometimes see some misconceptions here around the difference between my variables, which I've highlighted in teal here, and units, which I've highlighted in purple. Units are the units that we use to measure something in. Units tell us how long or how far each individual measurement is. The variable is what I'm trying to measure. So I'm trying to measure displacement or velocity or time. In science, I measure displacement in meters, velocity in meters per second, and time in seconds. All right, so how do we do this? Well, for each problem, we'll have a problem that gives us some information about some of these variables, and we'll need to solve for the variable that's missing. So let's look at an example. The Space Shuttle Endeavour is launched to an altitude of 500,000 meters above the surface of the Earth. I always draw a little picture to help myself. It's a good habit to get into so that you're picturing what's actually happening. This isn't just a math problem. There's some actual science going on. So I have a space shuttle going to 5,000 meters above the Earth. It's traveling at 700 meters per second. All right, so if I look at my three variables, I have displacement is 500,000 meters. And sorry if I just said 5,000 there. I did. Let me fix that. This should be 500,000. Make sure you are paying close attention to the magnitude of your measurements. 500,000, not 5,000. And the other variable I have is velocity. I know it's velocity because it's telling me how fast it's traveling and because the units match up, meters per second and meters per second. So velocity is equal to 700 meters per second. You'll notice in this case, the problem already gave me the SI units, the science units, the International System of Units, the appropriate units here. If we did not have meters per second, you would want to convert to the correct unit. Meters per second. These are the units that you want to use when you're using this equation. So in this case, we already have meters and meters per second, so we are good to go. The variable we're trying to find is time. All right, so S equals VT. This is our equation. Displacement is 500,000. Actually, I should be doing my work in the second box, excuse me. So the equation we're going to use is S equals VT, just one equation for today. And let's go ahead and plug our values in, just like you would do in math class. So when I see S, I'm going to put the S that I have, 500,000 meters, equals V, 700 meters per second, times T. So just like in math class, I need to get the T all by itself. I'm multiplying T by 700 meters per second. So in order to get the T all by itself, I'm going to divide by 700 meters per second. If I divide one side by 700 meters per second, well, I better divide the other side by 700 meters per second. And so On the right, those amounts will cancel out. On the left, I'm going to need to put this into my calculator. 500,000 divided by 700. T equals 714.29 seconds. Notice my unit is in seconds. We can figure that out because I had meters per second over meters per second. Meters over meters per second. The unit left is seconds, the unit that didn't cancel. I also know that that's a correct unit based on the equation, that the time is in seconds. You could have, if you were curious, you could of course convert that to minutes or hours to figure out exactly how long that is. You'll also probably be asking how many decimal points to report because I had to round here to get 0.29. There's really specific rules for how many decimal points to report, which you'll learn when you take IB Sciences next year. For now, writing your answer like this is fine. I wouldn't go above 2 decimal points. But again, keep in mind that that's an oversimplification. You'll learn how to refine that next year. All right, hope that helped.